All right, so here's number 11 from our homework. So I'm going to do a quick little video on it showing you how to solve it algebraically. So we have the second equation already solved for y. So we got to take the expression and put it in for y squared. Again, this one gets ugly because of the fractions. So x squared plus the quantity 1/2 x plus 1/2 and then squared equals 1. We now need to multiply out that 1/2 x plus 1/2 squared. So we have x squared plus and then 1/2 x plus 1/2 times a 1/2 x plus 1/2, and that is equal to 1. And then we have x squared plus 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, so 1/4 x squared. Then I have plus 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4 x, plus another 1/4 x, plus a 1/4 at the end, and that's equal to 1. We're going to go ahead and combine. I'm going to bring this over here and get some more room to work this thing. We're going to have now x squared plus 1/4 x squared, and then 1/4 x plus 1/4 x is actually plus 2/4 x. And then I have, and that reduces down to 1/2, but I'm going to leave it this way. And then I have a plus 1, and that, or sorry, equals 1. Let's back that up. Equals 1. Now, if we left off that 1/4 there, I see what I did. Plus 1/4 equals 1. So now let's get rid of the fractions. We don't like working a lot of problems with fractions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4, since that's the denominator, and I'm going to multiply through both sides of the equation by 4. So I'm going to multiply through, get it out of fraction mode. So that gives me a 4x squared. 4 times 1/4 x squared, the 4's cancel, and I'm just left with x squared. 4 times 2/4 x, the 4's cancel, and I'm left with plus 2x. And then 4 times 1/4 would just be plus 1, and then that equals what's 1 times 4, 4. And I've now gotten it out of fraction mode. A little bit easier to look at solving, or maybe, or with factoring, or maybe doing a quadratic formula to find the numbers. So this gives me 5x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 4. I need to bring over the 4. And that gives me 5x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Again, I like factoring. There is a way to arrange the factors with 5 and 3 that they subtract and give me 2. So let me take you through that step slowly. So if I know it's going to be a plus and a minus because I end in a minus sign. So it's one of each sign. 5 is 1 and 5. 3 is 1 and 3. I know for the before the x's has to be 1 and 5, so 1 and 5. And I would actually do 1 times 3 and 5 times 1 for the c values in that order. Because that way when I multiply across, I get 3, and I get 5, and when I subtract down, I get technically negative 2. Now we get to do the assigning of stuff. We really want that to be a positive 2. So the 5 needs to be positive, so a 1 has to be after a plus sign. We want the 3 to be negative, so it's negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2. So the 3 has to go at a minus sign. So 3 after a minus, 1 after a plus. We got to do 5 times 1, so since 1 is in with the plus in this first one, 5 goes there. And that forces the other one to be 1. Now I get to solve for my two x values. X plus 1 equals 0. 5x minus 3 equals 0. So x is equal to negative 1 is one of the places where they touch. And on the other one, I would add the 3. I get 5x equals 3. Divide by 5. X is equal to 3/5. So that's the other location. So I now have two places that they touch at. They touch at negative 1 comma something and 3/5 comma something. Now, I think it's a lot easier as I go back up here and I erase my circle. I think it's a lot easier to use the, yuck, I was going to say use the second equation, but we can. So if I use the second equation here, what is, let's see, y of -1. When x is -1, what's my answer? 1/2 times -1 plus 1/2. That's -1/2 plus 1/2. That's 0. So -1, 0 is an ordered pair, so that's this one right here. And then now we do the other point. So if I find what is y of 3/2, again, common sense, there's one answer, but I just want to show you how we get to it. We have 1/2 times 3/5 plus 1/2. So that would be 3/10 plus 1/2. I would multiply top and bottom by 5. I would have 3/10 plus 5/10, which is 8/10. And then now I can divide top and bottom by 2 to give me 4/5. And so that makes that answer.